Welcome to episode 60 of your CYSA Plus Prepcast. Today, we turn our attention to a fundamental concept in vulnerability assessment, the difference between credentialed and non-credentialed scans. These two scanning methods offer very different perspectives on system security. Credentialed scans allow analysts to assess a system from the inside, while non-credentialed scans simulate the view of an external attacker probing from the outside. Both approaches are vital for building an accurate, well-rounded understanding of vulnerabilities and for reducing security risk. Understanding how and when to use each type of scan is essential for preparing for your CYSA Plus exam and for making sound decisions in the field as a practicing cybersecurity analyst. Let us begin by defining credentialed vulnerability scanning. This method involves providing scanners with valid credentials, such as administrative usernames and passwords, that grant authenticated access to target systems. With these credentials, the scanner can examine system internals, such as software inventories, file system permissions, running services, registry settings, and patch levels. Credentialed scans are often used to assess the health and security of internal assets, providing a detailed look at the configuration and status of systems across the enterprise. These scans are an essential part of internal risk management and compliance auditing. Credentialed scans offer a significant advantage in visibility. Analysts gain access to information that is typically hidden from unauthenticated users. This includes a full list of installed software packages, versions, and updates, as well as system configuration details that are essential for detecting subtle security weaknesses. Credentialed scans can also assess compliance with internal security policies, such as enforcing specific configuration baselines or verifying that unnecessary services are disabled. By providing insight into what is happening inside a system, credentialed scans support more accurate risk prioritization and targeted remediation. Analysts commonly deploy credentialed scanning on high-value systems, where a deep understanding of vulnerabilities is required. These systems may include domain controllers, financial application servers, database clusters, or sensitive internal services that handle proprietary data. Because these systems represent critical points in the infrastructure, even a minor misconfiguration or missed patch could introduce significant risk. Credentialed scans allow analysts to detect vulnerabilities that an attacker might exploit after gaining initial access, giving the organization a chance to harden these assets before any damage occurs. One of the most powerful aspects of credentialed scanning is its accuracy and completeness. With full access to system internals, the scanner can verify whether patches have been fully applied, whether configuration settings comply with standards, and whether hidden vulnerabilities exist that would otherwise go undetected. This reduces the number of false positives and enables analysts to make more informed decisions about which vulnerabilities require immediate attention. More accurate results also save time, as remediation efforts are not wasted on issues that turn out to be non-existent or misclassified. Credentialed scanning is also a core part of effective patch management. Because these scans reveal detailed information about which patches are missing or partially installed, analysts can create targeted remediation plans. Patch validation is especially important in large environments where systems are updated in stages and where multiple software packages are deployed. Credentialed scans also help validate that patch installations were successful and that no unexpected changes occurred during the process. This assurance supports both operational confidence and regulatory compliance. Another important application of credentialed scanning is compliance enforcement. Analysts use these scans to validate that systems adhere to industry standards and regulatory requirements. For example, compliance with the Center for Internet Security benchmarks or the Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard often requires proof that specific configurations are in place. Credentialed scans can collect this evidence automatically, enabling organizations to demonstrate compliance to auditors without manual verification. These scans also highlight where systems fall short, supporting continuous improvement efforts. Credential management is a critical component of a secure credentialed scanning strategy. Analysts must ensure that scanning credentials are stored securely, protected by encryption, and accessible only to authorized users. Passwords should be rotated regularly, and scanning accounts should follow the principle of least privilege. granting only the permissions needed to perform the scan. Any use of credentials should be logged and monitored to detect unauthorized access or misuse. Without these safeguards, the very mechanism intended to improve visibility could become a vector for compromise. Credentialed scans are often scheduled during non-peak hours to reduce the impact on system performance and availability. Even though these scans are less intrusive than traditional network probes, they can still consume resources on the target system. Analysts coordinate scan schedules with system owners and operations teams to avoid scanning during high traffic periods, backup operations, or software updates. Proper planning ensures that the scanning process does not interfere with business functions or degrade user experience. Modern cybersecurity platforms often integrate credentialed scanning into broader vulnerability management ecosystems. Scanning tools may link directly to configuration management databases, ticketing systems, and asset inventory platforms. This integration allows scan results to be automatically assigned to the correct system owners, prioritized based on business impact, and tracked through the remediation lifecycle. When combined with endpoint detection and response tools, credentialed scans also support proactive monitoring, giving analysts real-time insight into changes in system health or configuration. As with any complex security process, effective documentation supports long-term success. Analysts maintain records of credentialed scanning schedules, credential use policies, scanning tool configurations, and exception handling procedures. Documentation also includes reporting templates, compliance mapping, and remediation workflows. These records support transparency and accountability while also serving as a resource for training, audits, and troubleshooting. Well-documented scanning programs are more resilient, scalable, and responsive to evolving business and security needs. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are more security courses on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Now let us explore non-credentialed vulnerability scanning, which plays a different but equally important role in a well-rounded security program. Non-credential scanning involves evaluating systems without supplying authenticated access. This scanning method emulates an external attacker's view of a network, using only publicly visible services, banners, and system responses to identify vulnerabilities. By seeing what an outsider could potentially exploit, analysts can assess perimeter defenses and detect high-risk exposures that may invite attacks from the internet or other untrusted sources. Non-credentialed scans are valuable because they simulate real-world attack conditions. An external threat actor probing for weaknesses will not have credentials and will instead rely on techniques such as port scanning, service fingerprinting, and banner grabbing to collect information. Analysts using non-credentialed scanning replicate this approach, identifying which services, versions, and misconfigurations are visible from the outside. This allows teams to evaluate how secure their perimeter is and take action before those exposures are targeted by adversaries. Analysts most commonly use non-credentialed scans when conducting external assessments. These scans focus on publicly accessible systems such as web servers, email gateways, VPN, concentrators, and cloud-hosted applications. Non-credentialed scanning helps ensure that these internet-facing systems do not expose unnecessary services, outdated software, or weak configuration. It also allows analysts to validate firewall rules, network access controls, and cloud security groups that are intended to block unwanted traffic. One of the practical advantages of non-credentialed scanning is that it is easy to deploy, since there is no need to manage authentication credentials or configure agent access. Analysts can perform scans quickly across broad network ranges. This makes non-credentialed scanning useful for initial assessments, rapid evaluations of new environments, and vulnerability checks during system onboarding. It also simplifies scanning in environments where credentials are not available or cannot be distributed securely. Despite its convenience, non-credentialed scanning is limited in what it can detect. It typically identifies issues such as open ports, publicly visible services, outdated software versions, and common misconfigurations. However, it does not provide insight into internal settings, user permissions, or configuration files. This means that while it is useful for identifying perimeter risks, it cannot detect many of the deeper vulnerabilities that are only visible from within the system. Analysts must be aware of these limitations and use non-credentialed scans as part of a larger vulnerability management strategy. Non-credentialed scans are commonly used for rapid perimeter evaluations. Analysts use them to quickly identify which systems are externally accessible and determine what vulnerabilities those systems may expose. These scans are often scheduled regularly, especially in organizations that deploy frequent infrastructure changes or operate in dynamic cloud environments. By scanning on a consistent schedule, analysts can detect newly introduced risks, identify forgotten or misconfigured services, and respond to exposures before they are discovered by threat actors. As with any scanning method, non-credentialed scans must be carefully configured to avoid operational issues. Aggressive scanning, particularly on sensitive systems, can trigger performance degradation or set off intrusion detection alerts. Analysts configure scan intensity settings, throttle traffic, and schedule scans during low-usage windows to reduce these risks. Coordination with system administrators and clear communication with stakeholders help ensure that scanning activities are well understood and do not interfere with critical operations. To improve prioritization, analysts often correlate non-credentialed scan results with threat intelligence. Vulnerabilities that are actively being exploited in the wild or are associated with known attack campaigns are assigned higher priority. This allows security teams to focus on the most dangerous exposures first, particularly those that are publicly accessible. Threat intelligence feeds provide context, such as malware associations, exploit toolkits, and attacker tactics, enhancing the value of scan results and supporting faster remediation. While credentialed and non-credentialed scans offer different levels of detail, they are most effective when used together. Credentialed scans provide visibility into internal configurations and compliance status, while non-credentialed scans reveal what outsiders can see and potentially exploit. By combining these two methods, analysts achieve comprehensive coverage across both internal and external environments. This dual approach ensures that vulnerabilities are not only identified at depth, but also detected from an attacker's perspective, supporting layered defense and informed decision-making. As always, documentation plays a crucial role in managing non-credentialed scanning activities. Analysts maintain records of target ranges, scan configurations, scan frequency, and response procedures. They also track discovered vulnerabilities, remediation timelines, and coordination with IT teams. Detailed documentation ensures that scanning is performed consistently, supports compliance with regulatory requirements, and provides evidence for audits or post-incident reviews. It also helps maintain institutional knowledge and supports continuous improvement across scanning operations. To summarize Episode 60, cybersecurity analysts must fully understand the roles of credentialed and non-credentialed scanning to perform effective vulnerability management. Credentialed scans allow deep inspection of internal systems, supporting compliance, patch validation, and detailed configuration analysis. Non-credentialed scans simulate the external attacker's view, highlighting public-facing weaknesses and verifying perimeter defenses. Both approaches are necessary, and together they form a comprehensive scanning strategy that enables organizations to proactively detect and remediate vulnerabilities. These skills are directly aligned with your CySA Plus exam objectives and are foundational to modern cybersecurity operations. Stay tuned as we continue your detailed journey towards CySA Plus certification success. Thanks for listening. To learn more about cybersecurity, please visit baremetalcyber.com. There you will find best-selling books, videos, and even more free cybersecurity training courses. Please subscribe to the Prepcast and our various podcasts. And thanks for listening.